Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar for Diageo North America's Reinvent Your Spirit Challenge, brought to you by NineSigma. My name is Jonathan Yakushaw from NineSigma, and I will be your host and moderator for today's webinar. Please note that the webinar is being recorded. The recording and transcription will be made available on the Reinvent Your Spirit Challenge page. Let's review our agenda for today. First, I'll begin with an introduction of our speakers. Then representatives from Diageo North America will tell us more about their organization. Next, our panelists will discuss the project in greater depth. We'll conclude by addressing your questions during our live Q&A session, followed by a brief summary of project information, including how to request additional information or assistance. As we proceed through today's presentation, please feel free to ask questions at any time. We'll keep track of your questions and respond to them during the Q&A portion of today's webinar. Moving along now, I'd like to introduce our panelists for today's webinar. First, from Diageo North America, we have Denny Brooks, PhD, VP Commercial Science, Global Innovation R&D, Olivia McNeil, VP Innovation R&D, Diageo North America, and Heather Mendoza, Senior Manager, Innovation R&D. And from NineSigma, we're joined by Pam Semenik, Senior Program Manager. Thanks to you all for joining us. We'll begin with the team from Diageo. Heather, could you tell us more about Diageo?
Sure. So guys, I'm going to take you through a little bit about Diageo, and then we'll focus more on the Smirnoff brand. So Diageo, in case you're not familiar, we are a global leader in beverage alcohol. We have an outstanding collection of brands across both spirits and beer. And of these brands, we have about 200, and they're enjoyed in more than 180 countries all around the world. Next slide. So we really are a company that's been founded by our brands. We've had many famous faces throughout history. The very first, Giacomo, in 1749, followed by Arthur Guinness, which you're all probably familiar with the Guinness brand. Moving on to Alexander Walker and our esteemed Johnny Walker brand, Charles Tanqueray, and finally, Vladimir Smirnoff. And our Smirnoff brand is 151 years old. It was founded in 1864. I'll take you through a little story about the Smirnoff brand, which was originally founded by Peter Smirnoff, who was a very famous vodka maker, and before long, he was one of the most famous vodka makers in all of Russia. In 1886, he even received the Tsar's special designation as a purveyor of the imperial court. However, when the Bolsheviks took over and the distilleries were shut down, Peter Smirnoff's son, Vladimir, was chased out of town. Vladimir was able to flee to Constantinople and eventually settle in France, where he began selling vodka under the Smirnoff name. Vladimir was able then to revive the brand. Today, Smirnoff is the #1 vodka brand in the world, and it is a triple distilled, 10 times filtered, and multiple award-winning vodka. Next slide. So a little bit about our Diageo technical community and the people that stand behind all of these wonderful brands and work on it day in and day out. We're a very small community, as you can see on the left side there, Innovation R&D. There are only 54 of us around the world who support all of our 200 brands. In Europe, we're situated in Bishop Stortford. In Africa, we support Africa through Bishop Stortford as well, so we have a team over there that supports both Europe and Africa. In the Americas, we're situated in Norwalk, Plainfield, and Miami. And out of Norwalk, we support the Americas from an innovation standpoint. And out of Miami, we support all of South America from an innovation standpoint. And finally, in Asia Pacific, we are supported through a Singapore office. We have a supply technical group who looks to bring to life all of our innovations through ensuring they are commercially feasible. And they are located all over the globe. So I won't go through all of these locations, but you can just take a look there on the map in green. And we'll jump to the next slide and talk a little bit about brand performance.
Hi everyone, this is Olivia. As Heather mentioned, we have more than 200 brands globally, and here's some highlights of the various brands that we have with their remarkable position as either number 1, number 2, or number 3 across the globe. So we have a very strong portfolio that's represented that has products represented in each category. We reported net sales volume of 12.1 billion pounds this past year, and our operating profit of about 3.6 billion. So a lot of activity happening in the alcohol world, as you all know. The landscape is getting more and more competitive, particularly in the United States. We're seeing a lot of craft distillers and other folks kind of getting into the alcohol industry, which is making it a very dynamic and exciting business. So really kind of opening up this webinar to all of you to come forward with some ideas on one of our flagship brands, Smirnoff. Just to touch a little bit more on the next slide on brand performance, you'll see there great strong growth in North America whiskey. Any of you that may shop the aisles for our beverages will see that the whiskey category has grown significantly, and it's probably been on trend since around 2010 at the turn of the recession, when consumers were starting to go back to familiar drinks and get more excited about craft cocktails, and that's where North American whiskey really started to surge back into trend. We're seeing great growth on Bulleit, and we're also seeing a significant amount of growth, particularly with millennial consumers and female consumers in flavored whiskeys. And our Crown Royal Vanilla and Apple have also been stellar successes for us. Apple actually achieved 1 million cases in its first year of launch, which was a record for the industry. So a lot of activity happening in whiskey. And then, of course, Scotch is seeing a halo effect on that and is back in growth, which is great to see on the heels of primarily driven by Johnnie Walker Black. And then Don Julio, tequila. Tequila is also experiencing a huge growth, and this is attributed largely to kind of the multicultural segment that's growing within the United States. And Don Julio is leading the charge with 19% growth on a very strong base. So great stuff happening in those categories. On Smirnoff, vodka actually is becoming more of a challenge to hit those double-digit growth numbers. And that's one of the reasons we're here today, is we're looking for ideas. If you shop the vodka shelf, you will see that there is a plethora of vodka options, and it's kind of experienced all of its growth through flavor extensions. And we're looking for what's the next new big idea or consumer ritual, consumer experience that we can really market and own as the #1 vodka in the United States.
Great. Heather, Olivia, thank you very much for that. We'll turn now to Pam Semenick from NineSigma. Pam, could you tell us a little bit more about the challenge?
Sure, and thanks for that description, Olivia. So with this challenge, Diageo seeks to bring a new level of excitement and technology to a vodka shot at the consumer level. Some suggestions to generate ideas are listed here on this slide and also on the challenge statement, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. This project is focused on ways to bring a wow factor to an ordinary shot of vodka. Things like multisensory effects, layered drinks, colored changes, effects that bring sound, texture elements, fun things like mouth sensations or dynamic visual effects are just some of the examples of what Diageo is looking for. Approaches that can enable a phase change or a property modification are also of interest. So this is very technology focused. Effects that can be achieved through product additives or ingredients, mixers, coatings, or packaging materials are all of interest. However, the desired effect must be realized in the liquid pour or that shot, not simply in a packaging or a peripheral manifestation.
Okay.
Okay, go to the next slide, please.
Sure, and can you tell us about the submission process?
The challenge summary on the website lists all the criteria for submission. I just provided a little bit here just to get a sense of what that criteria looks like. The desired solution will create some sort of, again, of multi-sensory effect in a shot of vodka. And again, the application is for an at-home, consumer-level solution. Please bear in mind that this is for a vodka-based liquid shot, so that comprises about 15 to 50% alcohol component. The desired effect would be manifested in each shot of vodka from the same bottle, so not a one-time single pour effect, but something that could be realized each time you pour the shot. This contest focuses on technologies that can provide a demonstrated effect on a shot of vodka. The activation mechanisms such as shaking, pouring, and whatnot may be employed to create that desired effect. And please also bear in mind that mechanisms that have already been demonstrated in alcohol, such as gold flake, or things that don't create a multisensory effect, so like a new flavor, those will not be considered for this contest. A list of additional restrictions is posted on the challenge summary. Next slide, please. And again, I wanted to list some of the criteria for submission on this slide. As noted here, contest entrants must be legal residents of the United States and at least 21 years old. The online submission form asks for confirmation of age and country of residence in order to meet this requirement. You must use the response form. So on the website, there is a Respond Now button on that web page. It will lead you to a form which prompts you in all the criteria that the challenge is asking for. Diageo does suggest including a video to demonstrate your approach. If you choose to include a video, please remember to provide a link and a password so the judges can actually view your submission.
Okay. What is the deadline to submit?
We launched this project at the end of July. All submissions must be received by 5 p.m. Eastern Time on September 26th. And please, all entries must be received via the response form on the website. Any submission received through email will not be considered for this contest. Prior to the selection of one overall winner, as you'll see on the timeline, that overall winner will be selected in December, but prior to that, up to 5 finalists will be invited to pitch their idea in a video conference demonstration to a technical Diageo panel.
Okay, great, thank you. What sort of awards are possible?
Diageo will award up to 5 prizes of $5,000 cash each. These finalists will advance to phase 2 of this competition, which will allow each of them to have the opportunity to design a prototype and present that approach to a Diageo review panel. Those presentations will be done via video conferencing. The winner of that phase will receive an additional $25,000 cash prize.
Okay, thank you. And I imagine some of our attendees are wondering, what about their intellectual property? How is that handled?
Questions about IP are always on the minds of our solution providers. The terms and conditions on the website will spell out all of this in detail, so please, anybody who wants to submit to this contest, we encourage you to read through that document carefully before submitting your response. Any submission must contain only non-confidential information. So respondents will retain any IP associated with his or her submitted approach, and the cash award winners agree to enter into an NDA with Diageo North America to discuss their proposed approach in greater detail.
Okay, great. Thank you, Pam. We'll now turn to frequently asked questions. These are questions that have come into our provider help desk already regarding this project. I'd like to remind our attendees that there is a Q&A portion of the webinar coming up shortly. If you have questions, please feel free to submit them via the Q&A chat box. This is a great opportunity for you to ask your questions directly to representatives from Diageo and NineSigma. At this moment, we'll go through these questions and then we'll proceed to the Q&A portion. The first question, this contest is only open to U.S. submissions. What if there's an international team working on an interesting approach? Heather, how about you from Diageo?
Sure. Legally, submissions should only be coming from the U.S. However, while this is a North America-based contest, if the idea is for North America but could potentially travel, we would of course be interested in that idea as well.
Okay, great. And Heather, I think we'll stick with you for this second question. What sort of data are you seeking to prove bench scale demonstration?
Sure. The bench scale demonstration should basically show a multi-serve bottle and the poured shot experience, whether that shot is blended with a common mixer or household item.
I'm sorry, Heather, I think we lost you there.
Can you hear me now?
Heather?
Uh-oh.
Well, attendees, we apologize for the brief technical interruption here. Heather, do we have you back?
Hello? Hello, can you guys hear us?
Yes, we can hear you again, Heather. You were saying, you were answering the question, what sort of data are you seeking for proving bench scale demonstration?
Sure. We're looking for demonstration of the multi-serve shot experience. So basically, the liquid should be scaled up in a multi-serve pack, and it should be poured out to showcase the shot experience and the multisensory experience. It can be combined with a common household item if needed, or mixer to showcase the experience, but really it should be something that's demonstrable that we can see. If it's something that is short-lived and you require some assistance to get to full commercial feasibility, I think we'd absolutely encourage you to submit and be willing to work with you through that.
Very good, great. And for our last FAQ, I think we'll go to Olivia from Diageo. Are there preferred sensory experiences? For example, is taste and sight better than taste and texture, for example?
Not really. We're actually really open to whatever submissions come through. But what we are really looking for is something that's multisensorial. So we can deliver taste. We've done that pretty well over the years. So we're really looking for something that is visually new or novel, something that could be very aromatic and exciting, or a texture experience in the mouth that would be pretty exceptional. And sound, if there's something clever we can do with sound, we're open to that as well. So the key is making it really multisensorial and something that you would deem to be the surprise at your party, or something you'd be proud to kind of share and have with friends.
Okay, great. All right, we will now turn to our live Q&A session. As I mentioned previously, if you've got a question, it's just burning in your brain and you want to put it forth to the Diageo team or perhaps to Pam from NineSigma, now is an excellent opportunity for you to do so. If we don't get to all the questions during today's webinar, don't worry. We're keeping track of the questions, and we can post the questions and those associated answers in the transcript at a later date. We'll now begin with the questions. We'll go through them one at a time and refer them to the appropriate responder. First off, we've got a great question here. It's actually a couple-part question here that I think will be addressed by the Diageo team. The first question is, are the bottle sizes held constant, and what are they? The second portion is it expected that the effect is constant through the shelf life of an open bottle, or can it focus on a smaller bottle size intended for multiple shots during a single drinking occasion?
So could you repeat part one of the question? Because I just want to make sure I understand.
Sure. The first question was, are the bottle sizes held constant, and what are they?
So bottle sizes are regulated by the U.S. government, and then the sizes are 50 milliliter, 200 milliliter, 375 milliliter, 750, a 1 liter, and a 175 liter. So those are the required sizes for spirits. However, if it's a technology that is demonstrated in a smaller bottle, we can work with you to commercialize the right size for the technology.
Okay, and then the second half, is it expected that the effect is held constant through the open shelf life, or can you focus on size?
Yeah, we would be fine if it is activated post-opening and then must be consumed within a certain period of time. However, that product must be safe for consumption. We do not expect it. We do not expect it once opened to last in perpetuity.
Okay. Our next question will stay with the team from Diageo. Do we assume room temperature, or can users be instructed to chill or heat, then pour shots?
It's okay to, room temperature is good. It's also okay to chill. I think we would prefer to avoid heating. That can add some risk when you're heating ethanol.
Absolutely. Okay, our next question. If we have ideas for several significantly different effects, should we combine them into a single proposal, or should we submit several separate proposals? I think I'll hand that one over to Pam to answer that one.
Yeah, and I guess the Diageo team might think about this differently, but I would suggest that each of those effects be submitted as a separate proposal, because I think that the Diageo team would prefer to evaluate each approach against another. Lumping them in together might make it a little bit more complicated, and it's nice that there are several different approaches, but please do submit them separately.
Perfect, Sam.
Great.
Agree.
Okay. Our next question. If we have a novel additive to be added to the liquid vodka, must the additive remain suspended in the liquid, or is it okay if it precipitates out while it's sitting on the shelf, as long as it reincorporates with shaking?
Similar to our Goldschlager product, which some of you may know on shelf, we're fine if it settles to the bottom and it has to be activated through shaking.
Okay, very good. Our next question. If this technology can be applied to other alcoholic beverages, is that beneficial?
Beyond vodka, yes. We are interested in that.
Okay. Okay, our next question. Would a system that blends two different, not 100% miscible liquids be of interest?
Yes, we would be interested in a system like that. It's very difficult, but we'd surely be interested.
Okay. Our next question, is there a minimum duration desired for the effect or effects?
In the shot.
In the shot.
The effect should be long enough that it's able to be noticed by consumers. So several minutes would be ideal.
Okay.
So that, if you think about the patterns of drinking, it should fit within the patterns of drinking.
Okay. And if my technology alters the viscosity of the vodka, is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're waiting for our next question to come in, and here it is. What sort of potential partnerships are available to the entrants?
Partnerships in terms of IP protection? Do you have any more detail on the question, or is that the question?
That is what we have right here. I'm guessing that the intent of the question is understanding what potential business relationships might be established with the entrants on a more long-term basis.
Yeah, I think that would probably be something we'd negotiate. We're pretty open to a variety of partnerships. We believe that in any kind of partnership, both parties need to see value for themselves. So we would negotiate that, but we're pretty open in terms of the nature of partnerships.
Excellent. Thank you, Danny. Our next question, let's see, is a technology that works when combined with other liquids, whether they're alcoholic or not, of interest?
Yes, as long as those other liquids are reasonably easy to obtain.
Okay. All right. And kind of a corollary that I'm just kind of thinking about here, must the effect work when it's combined with other liquids, or is it okay if you have a shot that has some special effect but that goes away when you mix it with something else?
That's totally fine.
Okay, very good. Okay, our next question is coming in now. Would an artisanal/craft vodka maker be eligible for this challenge?
Yes.
Very good. Okay, our next question is coming up on the screen right now. From a manufacturing perspective, is there a preference for liquid additives over solid additives?
Not at this time.
No, we have solid additives already that we deal with, like the gold flakes in Smirnoff Gold and in Goldschlager. So we're comfortable with that.
Okay. Our next question, and Heather and Olivia, I believe you may have touched on this just a moment or two ago during your slides. Is this technology intended for a particular brand or quality of vodka?
Yes, I mean, certainly the brand it's intended for Smirnoff. That's the contest. And the quality, of course, for Smirnoff is a very high quality with high purity standards. So that's ideally what we're going after. Okay,
great. We will take just a moment here to wait for any additional questions that come in. As I said at the outset, this is an excellent opportunity for our attendees who are listening today to pose their questions to the teams from NineSigma and from Diageo. We'll wait just a moment here to see if we've got any additional questions coming in. If you think of a question after today's webinar and need to get assistance, by all means, don't worry about that. We'll have some additional information on an upcoming slide where you can get additional information. So you can pose your question to the NineSigma team, and we will relay that over to Diageo to get the information that you're seeking. All right, well, it looks like at the moment we don't have any new questions coming in. Wait, I spoke too soon. We do have a new question coming in. Just one moment. Okay, our next question. Is it okay if the solution works in the 40% ethanol product and not higher percentage products? Excellent question.
Excellent question, and yes, that's absolutely fine. It can also work in 30%, so we can go lower than we can go actually as low as 10%. So we have total flexibility in terms of alcohol content.
So does that mean that a submitter could specify that their technology is for a particular alcohol content and not higher or not lower?
That is fine.
Okay, excellent. Okay. If there are no further questions, I will proceed with wrapping up today's webinar. As I said, if you think of a question after today's webinar, don't worry, we've got some additional guidance for you to get you the information that you're looking for. So first off, what can you do today? First off, you can see the web address for the Reinvent Your Spirit Challenge on 9 sites. The next bullet point there is if you need assistance, please contact the NineSigma Provider Help Desk either by email or by phone. We can take down the information that you're looking for and we can reach out to the appropriate individual to get you the information that you're seeking. Lastly, you will see there the submission deadline. That's Tuesday, September 26th, 2017 at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Please be sure to submit your proposals in advance of that 5 p.m. deadline. You don't want to get caught trying to log in at 4:59 and then your computer dies. So we would recommend logging in, getting your account set up, your profile set up, so that you are ready to go to submit your proposal. To our panelists from Diageo and Pam Semenik from NineSigma, thank you for your time. For our attendees, thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing from you and reading over your submissions. Thank you very much and have a great day.